Have you ever closed your eyes in a perfectly quiet room and wondered if the world outside still exists when you're not looking at it? This might sound like a simple philosophical puzzle, a thought experiment meant for a calm afternoon, but it is actually the gateway to one of the most profound and unsettling mysteries in modern science. We move through our daily lives with a profound sense of certainty. We trust the ground beneath our feet, the sky above our heads, and the vast, endless stretch of the cosmos spinning in the dark. We assume that reality is a physical, objective stage upon which the drama of existence unfolds. But what if that absolute certainty is the greatest illusion of all? What if the towering galaxies, the ancient stars, and the infinite expanse of deep space are not just things you observe, but things your mind actively creates? To begin this quiet journey into the nature of reality, we must first confront a biological paradox that challenges our basic perception of the universe. Consider your own brain. It is locked inside a dark, silent vault of bone. Your brain has never seen the light of a star. It has never felt the warmth of a sun. It has never heard the gentle whisper of the wind. Everything you experience, every color, every sound, every texture, is translated into silent, invisible electrical signals before your brain ever interacts with it. If you enjoy learning about the strangest and most mind-bending things in our cosmos, please take a moment to pause. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this journey through the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing, as it helps me immensely to continue bringing these meditative cosmic journeys to you, allowing us to keep exploring the grand mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet darkness of the mind and the secrets it holds. When you look up at the night sky and feel a sense of awe at the vastness of space, you are not actually looking out into the universe. You are looking inward. The ancient photons that left distant stars millions of years ago have traveled across an unimaginably cold and empty void. They cross the infinite silence, dodging dust clouds and gravitational wells, only to end their colossal journey by striking the retina at the back of your eye. At that exact moment, the light dies. It is converted into an electrical impulse. The universe as a physical entity stops at your eye. What happens next is a masterpiece of biological rendering. Your brain takes those electrical pulses and constructs an image. It paints the darkness, places the glowing points of light, and creates the sensation of depth, scale, and beauty. The cosmos you're experiencing in that moment does not exist out there in the way you perceive it. It exists entirely within the boundaries of your own consciousness. The mystery deepens when we consider the scale of what is being constructed inside your mind. Astronomers have discovered structures so enormous they defy human imagination. They have found cannibal galaxies that have consumed their neighbors over billions of years, growing to millions of light years across and containing hundreds of trillions of stars. These cosmic giants sit at the center of massive galaxy clusters surrounded by halos of dark matter and superheated gas. When we measure them, we use instruments of incredible precision. We calculate their mass, their distance, and their ancient history. But even these majestic, terrifyingly immense structures are ultimately known to us only as models constructed within human awareness. The universe is incredibly vast, filled with trillions of galaxies, but the only place where that vastness is actually comprehended, felt, and visualized is inside the microscopic neural networks of a conscious observer. This realization brings us to the very edge of quantum mechanics, a realm where the rules of classical physics dissolve into a haze of probabilities. For a long time, classical science operated on the assumption that the universe was a giant mechanical clockwork. It ticked along predictably, and we were merely passive observers watching through a window. But in the 20th century, experiments began to reveal a reality that was far more gentle, yet deeply unsettling. At the smallest scales of existence, matter does not behave like solid objects. Subatomic particles exist in a state of potential, a hazy cloud of possibilities, until they are measured or observed. This is known as the observer effect, and it fundamentally shatters the illusion of a detached, objective reality. The act of looking, the very presence of a conscious mind, forces the universe to make a decision, collapsing infinite possibilities into a single, defined physical state. Renowned physicists have spent their entire lives grappling with the philosophical implications of this phenomenon. Some have proposed what is called the participatory universe. This theory suggests that the cosmos requires an observer to exist in any meaningful way. Without a mind to perceive it, the universe might be nothing more than a formless sea of quantum potential, devoid of space, devoid of time, and devoid of structure. It is a staggering thought. The giant black holes holding billions of solar masses, the furious quasars, the quiet red dwarfs burning slowly for trillions of years. Do they only take on their magnificent forms because a mind is there to interpret the data? We are taught to feel small when we look at the stars, to feel a sense of productive humility in the face of such overwhelming scale. We are just temporary inhabitants of a tiny, rocky world orbiting an average star. But this new perspective flips that cosmic humility upside down. Yes, we are small in physical size, but our consciousness might be the very theater in which the universe comes alive. To truly grasp the weight of this idea, we must take a moment to reflect on the nature of light and time. When we observe a distant galaxy, we are not seeing it as it is right now. We are looking deep into the past. Because light has a strict speed limit, it takes millions, sometimes billions of years to reach our telescopes. The light we capture from the most distant cosmic giants began its journey when our planet was nothing more than a swirling disk of dust, long before the first primitive oceans formed. That ancient light has been traveling through the endless, freezing silence of the cosmos, carrying the memory of a dead era. And yet, that history does not truly manifest as an image, as a reality, until it interacts with a biological organism capable of perception. The universe is telling a story, but a story requires a listener. The gentle authority of this concept lies in its ability to bring peace rather than existential dread. There is a profound meditative calm that comes from realizing you are not entirely separate from the cosmos you're studying. Many people feel a sense of isolation when they consider the unfathomable distances between the stars. The empty gulfs of space can seem hostile and terrifying. But if reality is a construct of the mind, if the universe is a participatory phenomenon, then you are intimately, directly connected to every distant star and every swirling nebula. You are not a stranger wandering through a cold, mechanical void. As the brilliant astronomer Carl Sagan so beautifully articulated, we are a way for the cosmos to know itself. We are made of the exact same star stuff, the carbon, the oxygen, the iron, forged in the fiery cores of ancient suns that lived and died before our solar system was even born. But we are more than just recycled stellar matter. We are the mechanism by which the universe wakes up from its endless slumber. We are the eyes through which the cosmos sees its own beauty, the mind through which it ponders its own infinite mystery. As we sit with this realization, the silence of the night sky begins to feel less like an empty void and more like a gentle embrace. The boundaries between the observer and the observed begin to blur. Where do you end, and where does the universe begin? If the image of the galaxy is generated within your visual cortex, and the concept of space and time are frameworks constructed by your intellect to organize sensory input, then the entire cosmos you have ever known has always been comfortably nested within you. This does not mean the physical world is a mere fantasy, nor does it diminish the awe we feel for the monumental structures identified by astronomers. Instead, it elevates human consciousness to a role of cosmic significance. It transforms the cold, detached study of astronomy into a deeply personal, almost spiritual journey of self-discovery. We are explorers mapping a territory that is simultaneously infinitely vast and intimately contained within our own minds. Our journey into this majestic paradox has only just begun. The tension between the known and the unknown invites us to venture deeper, to question the very fabric of space-time, and to seek the hidden architecture of reality. In the next stages of our exploration, we will look beyond the biological limits of the brain and step into the strange, counterintuitive world of advanced physics, where the universe behaves in ways that will challenge everything you thought you knew about existence. We will gently peel back the layers of this grand illusion, seeking the truth hidden in the spaces between the stars. But for now, let your mind rest in the quiet comfort of knowing that you hold the entire universe within you. Have you ever reached out in the quiet of the morning to touch the rough, textured bark of an ancient tree, feeling the solid, undeniable reality of the physical world pressing against your fingertips? We navigate our daily lives completely immersed in the profound certainty of 3 dimensions. We move forward and backward, we step left and right, and we look up and down. Our minds are beautifully and perfectly calibrated to understand volume, depth, and physical space. We trust this 3-dimensional arena because it is all we have ever known, the very stage upon which the entire drama of human existence is played out. But what if the solid universe you feel so deeply, the vast oceans, the towering mountains, and the infinite stretch of the cosmos, is nothing more than a magnificent projection? What if the reality we inhabit is a grand cosmic illusion generated from a flat 2-dimensional surface? This gentle but terrifying question brings us to one of the most astonishing paradoxes in modern physics, a concept that challenges the very foundation of how we perceive the universe around us. It is known as the holographic principle, and to understand this quiet mystery, we must travel to the absolute edge of physical reality, to the dark and silent boundary of a supermassive black hole. If you enjoy learning about the strangest and most mind-bending things in our cosmos, please take a moment to pause. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this journey through the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing, as it helps me immensely to continue bringing these meditative, cosmic journeys to you, allowing us to keep exploring the grand mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet darkness of space and the profound secrets hidden within the gravitational embrace of the universe's most enigmatic objects. When we think of black holes, we often picture violent, destructive cosmic monsters tearing apart stars and devouring everything in their path. But in the deep silence of the cosmos, a black hole is actually a place of profound stillness and ultimate physical limits. Consider the supermassive black hole at the center of the largest galaxy we have ever discovered, a majestic giant known as IC 1101. This particular black hole is estimated to contain roughly 50 billion times the mass of our own Sun. It is a structure so vast that its event horizon, the boundary of no return, extends outward for about 150 billion kilometers. That is roughly 16 times larger than our entire solar system. But the event horizon is not a physical surface. You could not reach out and touch it like the bark of that ancient tree. It is a mathematical threshold, a region of space where the gravitational pull becomes so intense that not even light, traveling at roughly 670 million miles per hour, can escape its grasp. Inside that invisible boundary, all directions lead inexorably toward the singularity, a point where the laws of physics as we know them completely break down. But it is not the singularity that holds the key to our holographic universe. It is the event horizon itself, the quiet, two-dimensional boundary separating the known universe from the unknowable void. For decades, theoretical physicists grappled with a profound contradiction known as the black hole information paradox. In the quantum world, there is a fundamental rule that information can never be permanently destroyed. If you burn a book, the quantum information regarding the structure of the paper and ink is still perfectly preserved in the smoke and ashes drifting through the air. However, black holes seem to violate this sacred rule. If you drop a book into a black hole, it crosses the event horizon and disappears. Over periods of time, stretching to 10 to the power of 100 years, the black hole will slowly evaporate through a delicate quantum process called Hawking radiation. Eventually, the black hole will vanish entirely in a final, silent burst of energy. So, what happened to the information contained within the book? If the black hole is gone, and the information is gone, then the most fundamental law of quantum mechanics has been broken. This terrifying possibility kept scientists awake at night, because if information can be destroyed, then our entire understanding of reality begins to unravel. The solution to this existential crisis came in the form of a mathematical revelation so beautiful and strange that it forever changed our view of the cosmos. Theoretical physicists discovered that when an object falls into a black hole, its three-dimensional information is not lost in the dark interior. Instead, as the object crosses the threshold, its exact quantum signature is perfectly smeared and encoded onto the two-dimensional surface of the event horizon. Imagine a three-dimensional object being perfectly translated into a two-dimensional code, a pixelated blueprint resting on the surface of the black hole. Everything that falls in, every star, every cloud of ancient gas, every stray photon of light, leaves its information on the boundary. This means that the total amount of information a black hole can hold is not determined by its three-dimensional volume, as common sense would dictate, but exclusively by the two-dimensional surface area of its event horizon. The black hole is, in essence, a massive cosmic hard drive, and its surface is the screen displaying the data. The three-dimensional reality of the interior is perfectly mathematically equivalent to the two-dimensional information residing on the edge. This realization sparked a quiet revolution in the world of theoretical physics. If the complete three-dimensional reality of a black hole can be entirely described by the two-dimensional information on its boundary. What prevents this mathematical truth from applying to the entire universe? Just as a black hole has an event horizon, our observable universe also has a boundary, a cosmic horizon created by the age of the universe and the finite speed of light. Because the universe is expanding, and because light takes time to travel, there is a limit to how far we can see. Beyond that limit lies space and time that we can never interact with, a boundary that surrounds us like an infinite dark sphere. The holographic principle boldly suggests that everything we experience, the towering galaxies, the swirling nebulas, the quiet red dwarf stars burning slowly for trillions of years, and even you, listening to these words right now, might be nothing more than a three-dimensional holographic projection generated from quantum information encoded on the two-dimensional boundary of the observable universe. You are not living inside the volume of space. You are experiencing the projection of a grand, ancient code written on the very edge of reality. Think about the familiar experience of looking at a masterfully painted portrait. When you gaze at a flat canvas, your mind instantly perceives depth, distance, and volume. You see the vast receding perspective of a landscape, even though your logical brain knows the surface is completely flat. Your consciousness is an expert at translating two-dimensional data into a three-dimensional experience. Now, scale that everyday miracle of human perception up to the size of the entire cosmos. The holographic principle implies that the universe is performing a similar trick on a cosmic scale. The three dimensions of space that we take for granted, the vast emptiness between our sun and the nearest star, might not be fundamental features of reality. Instead, space itself might be an emergent property, an illusion generated by the complex entanglement of quantum information residing on a distant, two-dimensional boundary. The physical space you move through might simply be the macroscopic manifestation of microscopic quantum data interacting on the absolute edge of the universe. When we combine this holographic revelation with the mysteries of the human mind, the universe becomes a profoundly intimate experience. Your brain, isolated in its silent, dark vault, is not merely passively receiving signals from an external world. It might be the ultimate decoding mechanism, the instrument that translates the two-dimensional quantum information of the cosmic horizon into the rich, three-dimensional reality you feel around you. The awe you experience when you learn about a galaxy containing 100 trillion stars is not just a reaction to the external cosmos. It is your consciousness actively participating in the rendering of the cosmic hologram. You are the lens through which the universe focuses its infinite potential into a tangible reality. The gentle peace that comes from this understanding is transformative. You are not a tiny speck wandering through a cold void. You are deeply woven into the mathematical fabric of the universe. Every thought you have is a critical part of the grand cosmic projection. Our journey through this mystery is far from over, and as we continue to explore the quiet depths of the cosmos, we will uncover even more paradoxes. But for now, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and feel the gentle connection between your wandering mind and the distant, infinite horizon of the holographic universe. Have you ever sat in a perfectly quiet room and listened to the rhythmic, unyielding ticking of a clock, feeling the steady march of seconds slipping permanently into the past? We experience time as an unstoppable river, a continuous flow that carries us from a forgotten yesterday through a fleeting present and toward an unknown tomorrow. Our entire human existence is built upon this fundamental perception of sequence. We remember the past, we act in the present, and we dream of the future. But what if this intuitive understanding, this river of time that feels so absolutely real, is nothing more than another grand illusion constructed by your mind? What if the past, the present, and the future all exist simultaneously in a frozen, silent architecture, and it is only your consciousness that is moving? To uncover this profound mystery, we must step away from our biological clocks and venture into the strange, mind-bending realm of relativistic physics, where time is not a river, but a vast, unchanging landscape waiting to be explored. If you enjoy learning about the strangest and most mind-bending things in our cosmos, please take a moment to pause. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this quiet journey through the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing, as it helps me immensely to continue bringing these meditative cosmic journeys to you, allowing us to keep exploring the grand mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the silence of the cosmos and the eternal enigma of time. When Albert Einstein developed his theory of relativity, he fundamentally destroyed the concept of a universal ticking clock. Before his quiet revolution of thought, scientists believed that time was an absolute constant, a rigid framework that ticked at the exact same rate for everyone, everywhere in the universe. But Einstein revealed a much more gentle and flexible reality. He showed us that time and space are not separate entities, but are intimately woven together into a single, four-dimensional fabric known as space-time. In this cosmic tapestry, your experience of time is completely relative to your speed and your proximity to gravity. If you were to fall toward the immense crushing gravity of a supermassive black hole containing 50 billion solar masses, like the one resting silently at the center of the giant galaxy known as IC 1101, your perception of time would warp dramatically. To an observer watching from a safe, distant location, you would appear to slow down, eventually freezing entirely as you approach the event horizon. Yet, from your own perspective, your watch would continue to tick normally. Time is not a shared experience. It is a deeply personal geometry, molded by the presence of mass and the velocity of motion. If time is simply another physical dimension, much like length, width, and height, then we must confront a terrifyingly beautiful concept known in theoretical physics as the block universe. Imagine all of space-time, the entire history of the cosmos, from the explosive birth of the Big Bang to the final, cold evaporation of the last black holes, existing as an enormous solid block of four-dimensional reality. In this block, every moment that has ever happened, and every moment that will ever happen, is permanently embedded in the structure. The giant dinosaurs roaming the ancient Earth, the construction of the massive pyramids, your own cherished childhood memories, and the eventual death of our magnificent sun in 5 billion years, all exist simultaneously. They are simply located at different coordinates within the block, just as completely different cities exist simultaneously at different geographic locations on the surface of our planet. The past is not permanently gone, and the unknown future is not patiently waiting to be born. They are already there, resting eternally in the absolute stillness of the infinite cosmos. This realization forces us to ask a deeply unsettling question. If the entire universe, with all its history and future, is a frozen, unchanging block, then why do we feel the relentless passage of time, Why do we feel like we are moving through it? The answer brings us back to the mysterious boundaries of human consciousness. Physicists suggest that the flow of time is not a property of the physical universe, but a unique feature of the mind. Your consciousness acts like a gentle spotlight slowly sweeping across the frozen landscape of the block universe. As the light of your awareness illuminates a specific slice of space-time, you experience that slice as the present moment. The slices that have already been illuminated are recorded in your biological brain as memories, creating the powerful illusion of a past that is rapidly slipping away. The dark, unlit sections ahead are perceived as the unknown future. The passage of time is not a fundamental law of physics. It is a biological and psychological phenomenon, a clever way for your mind to process a complex four-dimensional reality using a limited three-dimensional brain. Why, then, if the block universe is static, do we experience a strict, irreversible direction? Why does a shattered glass never spontaneously reassemble itself? And why do dying stars never shrink back into youthful, blazing blue giants? This profound mystery is known as the arrow of time, intimately connected to a concept called entropy. The second law of thermodynamics dictates that isolated systems naturally progress from perfect order to chaotic disorder over vast stretches of time. When the universe was born, it existed in a state of extraordinarily low entropy. For the past nearly 14 billion years, that order has been slowly unraveling, driving the unidirectional flow of macroscopic events. But at the microscopic level, the fundamental equations of quantum mechanics do not care about the direction of time. The laws governing subatomic particles work perfectly, whether time is moving forward or backward. The irreversible arrow of time only emerges when trillions of particles interact in complex systems. It is a statistical illusion rather than a hard physical law. This suggests that the relentless march of time we feel so intimately is an emergent property, a biological interpretation of increasing disorder rather than a true, objective movement through a physical dimension. To truly appreciate the majestic scale of this concept, we must look out into the deep darkness of intergalactic space, utilizing our most advanced technological eyes. Consider the light traveling from the colossal galaxy IC 1101, which sits over 1 billion light-years away from our own planetary home. When astronomers capture the photons from this cosmic giant, they are looking at ancient light that began its journey over 1 billion years ago, long before a complex animal life had evolved on Earth. The galaxy we see today in our telescopes is a phantom, a ghost of a reality that existed in the deep past. And when we use miraculous instruments like space telescopes to peer even deeper into the cosmos, we capture light that has been traveling for billions of years. But in the framework of the block universe, that incredibly ancient moment when the primordial light was first emitted, and the exact present moment when that very same light strikes our optical sensors, both exist equally and simultaneously. The vast empty space between our quiet solar system and those cannibalistic giant galaxies is not just a distance measured in miles. It is a profound distance measured in time. Our consciousness connects these two distinctly separated coordinates in the block universe, weaving them together to create the seamless experience of looking into the night sky. We are not just observing the cosmos. Our minds are actively tracing lines of connection across the frozen block of eternity, bridging a gap of billions of years in a single, quiet glance. But the mystery deepens when we return to the strange world of quantum mechanics. If the universe is a participatory phenomenon, what role does the observer play? Astonishing quantum experiments imply that observing a particle in the present can actually influence its state in the past. It sounds impossible, but it is a verifiable reality. When your mind measures a photon, that observation collapses the wave function not just now, but backward along its historical trajectory. This suggests the gentle spotlight of consciousness is actively participating in the rendering of reality, defining the structure of the cosmos across time itself. Let this gentle realization wash over you. The anxiety we feel about time slipping away is born from a grand illusion. You are an integral part of an eternal masterpiece. Every beautiful moment, every quiet night under the stars, and every distant galaxy shining with the light of 100 trillion suns is permanently preserved in the silent architecture of space-time. The universe is not slipping through your fingers. It is waiting for the gentle light of your consciousness to bring it to life. We are the explorers of this frozen eternity. As we journey further, we will dive into the silent spaces between atoms and the strange possibility that our universe is just one of an infinite number of realities. But for now, take a deep breath. Embrace the perfect stillness of the eternal present, and find peace in the knowledge that time is just another quiet landscape waiting to be discovered. Have you ever stared into the darkest, most silent corner of an empty room and wondered if nothingness actually exists? We move through the world trusting the absolute solidity of the objects we touch, from the heavy wooden doors to the solid concrete beneath our feet. Yet, modern quantum physics reveals that every single atom in the universe is composed of 99.999% completely empty space. This is a profound contradiction that challenges our basic perception of reality. The chair you are sitting on, the ground beneath you, and even the intricate biological structure of your own brain are almost entirely composed of absolute nothingness. When you press your hands together, you are not actually feeling solid matter touching solid matter. You are feeling the invisible electromagnetic force, fields of atoms repelling one another in the dark, silent, microscopic void. What your mind interprets as a hard, impenetrable surface is actually a ghostly illusion, a brilliant translation of invisible forces into a tactile sensation that allows you to safely navigate a universe composed almost entirely of emptiness. The cosmos is vast, empty, and silent, and yet your consciousness manages to paint it with the brilliant colors of solidity, texture, and physical presence. If you enjoy learning about the strangest and most mind-bending things in our cosmos, please take a moment to pause. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this gentle journey through the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing, as it helps me immensely to continue bringing these meditative, cosmic journeys to you, allowing us to keep exploring the grand mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet darkness of the quantum void and the magnificent secrets hiding within the empty spaces of the cosmos. To truly comprehend the terrifying and beautiful scale of this emptiness, we must leave the microscopic realm of atoms and journey out into the deep darkness of intergalactic space. Consider the majestic spiral structure of our own Milky Way galaxy, an enormous pinwheel of gas and dust that measures roughly 100,000 light-years across. It contains somewhere between 200 billion and 400 billion glowing stars. Yet, the space between these stars is almost unimaginably empty. Our nearest stellar neighbor, a small, quiet red dwarf known as Proxima Centauri, sits about 4.24 light-years away from our sun. This distance is so incredibly vast that if you were to magically shrink our massive sun down to the exact size of a single grain of sand, Proxima Centauri would be another tiny grain of sand sitting approximately 4 miles away in the dark. The immense, silent space stretching between those two tiny grains of sand would be a terrifying void containing nothing but the faintest whiff of stray gas, sparse dust, and the occasional lonely particle of cosmic radiation. We are biologically wired to live on a crowded, vibrant planet surrounded by billions of other people and countless living organisms, so we expect the universe to be dense and full. But when you step outside the protective bubble of our solar system, emptiness becomes the absolute governing rule of existence. If the spaces between the stars in our own galaxy seem vast, they are nothing compared to the true monsters of the cosmos. Look toward the constellation of Virgo, past the familiar stars, and deep into the Abel 2029 galaxy cluster. There, sitting in the heart of the cluster like a cosmic emperor on a dark throne, is IC 1101, the largest galaxy we have ever discovered. This magnificent giant is estimated to measure somewhere between 4 million and 6 million light-years across. It contains an incomprehensible 100 trillion stars. But even with 100 trillion ancient stellar fires burning inside of it, IC 1101 is still mostly composed of nothingness. The stars are so widely separated by the expanding cosmic void that the chances of any two of them ever physically colliding by accident is essentially zero. Entire galaxies can gracefully pass right through each other over hundreds of millions of years without a single star hitting another. The mind struggles to visualize a structure that is millions of light-years wide, contains trillions of blazing suns, and is still almost entirely made of empty space. The universe is simultaneously bursting with unimaginable amounts of matter and utterly dominated by infinite, echoing silence. However, the mystery of the void becomes even more complex when we consult the latest astronomical data. What we perceive as empty space is not actually empty at all. For decades, scientists studied the rotation of galaxies and realized that the visible matter, the billions of glowing stars, and the massive clouds of interstellar dust simply did not generate enough gravitational pull to keep the galaxies from violently spinning apart. There had to be something else out there in the dark, something completely invisible holding the magnificent structures together. Astronomers call this invisible anchor dark matter. It does not emit light, it does not absorb light, and it does not interact with normal matter in any way, except through the gentle, persistent tug of gravity. In a typical spiral galaxy, this unseen substance accounts for roughly 90% of the total mass. The giant elliptical galaxy IC 1101 is surrounded by a halo of dark matter so enormous that scientists estimate its total mass could be as high as 1,100 trillion times the mass of our own sun. This means that the vast majority of the universe is completely invisible to our physical senses. Your mind is constructing a picture of the cosmos using less than 10% of the actual information. The rest is a hidden, silent ocean of dark matter shaping the destiny of the galaxies in total secrecy. As if dark matter were not enough to challenge our understanding of reality, we must confront an even more mysterious force lurking in the vastness of the void. Astronomers measuring the light from distant, ancient supernovas made a discovery that shattered our intuitive understanding of the cosmos. They found that the universe was not just expanding. The rate of that expansion was accelerating over time. Something is actively stretching the fabric of space-time, pushing the distant galaxy clusters farther and farther apart at ever-increasing speeds. Scientists name this mysterious anti-gravitational force dark energy, although we have absolutely no idea what dark energy actually is. We know that it makes up roughly 68% of all the energy in the entire universe. It is a property of space itself, a phantom force that grows stronger as the universe expands and ordinary matter becomes more spread out and diluted. Because of dark energy, space is not just an empty stage where matter exists. Space is a dynamic, active entity that is slowly tearing the universe apart. Over time scales measuring hundreds of billions of years, the expansion will accelerate to the point where distant galaxies are carried away from us faster than their light can possibly travel toward our telescopes. When we meditate on these immense, invisible forces, the role of human consciousness becomes even more profound. You are sitting in a room that is mostly empty space. You live in a galaxy that is mostly dark matter. You are drifting through a universe that is being stretched apart by dark energy. Almost everything that truly defines the structure and destiny of the cosmos is completely imperceptible to human biology. Yet, your mind takes this chaotic, invisible, largely empty void and effortlessly weaves it into a coherent, beautiful, and deeply meaningful experience. We are not merely made of star stuff. We are the conscious architecture that gives the star stuff meaning. The brilliant astrophysicist Carl Sagan beautifully articulated that we are a way for the cosmos to know itself, a profound realization that elevates our existence far beyond our tiny physical proportions. We are the silent observers who look out into the terrifying expanse of the unknown and find breathtaking beauty instead of overwhelming chaos. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is there to hear it, it simply creates silent vibrations in the air. Sound requires an ear. Color requires an eye. And, perhaps, the universe requires a mind. The vastness of IC 1101, the ancient light traveling for over 1 billion years, the quiet evaporation of a supermassive black hole over Google years, all of these magnificent realities only take on their awe-inspiring weight because your consciousness is there to witness them, to understand them, and to feel the gentle reverence they demand. This realization should fill you with a profound sense of intellectual safety and peace. The void is not a cold, hostile place designed to isolate you. The empty spaces between the stars, the hidden halos of dark matter, and the stretching fabric of dark energy are simply the blank canvas upon which your mind paints the masterpiece of reality. As you lie awake, pondering the infinite silence of the cosmos, remember that the silence is not empty. It is brimming with pure, unmanifested potential. The universe is a delicate partnership between the unseen mechanics of physics and the brilliant, interpreting power of the human mind. The dark corners of your room are not things to fear. They are reminders of the gentle mystery that pervades every inch of existence. Every quiet moment of contemplation, every deep breath you take while gazing up at the scattered stars in the night sky, is an active participation in the grand cosmic story. You are the universe waking up, stretching its awareness across the boundless dimensions of space-time, and gently acknowledging its own infinite existence. In our next exploration, we will look beyond the boundaries of this singular universe and ask an even more challenging question. What if our reality, with all its galaxies and empty spaces, is just a single bubble floating in an infinite ocean of multiple realities? But for now, let your thoughts dissolve into the quiet, peaceful emptiness of the quantum void, and rest in the comforting knowledge that the universe is exactly as beautiful as your mind allows it to be. Have you ever stood at a quiet crossroads in your life, perhaps on a foggy morning or late at night, and wondered about the paths you did not take? We live our daily lives firmly bound to a single, unyielding timeline, experiencing time as an unstoppable river that carries us ever forward. We are forced to choose one door while all the others gently close behind us, leaving us to wonder about the phantom lives we could have lived if we had simply made a different choice. You made a conscious decision, or perhaps a series of seemingly insignificant choices, to be exactly where you are right now, listening to these words, occupying this specific moment in the vastness of space and time. You feel the physical reality of the world around you. You hear the steady rhythm of your own breathing, and you naturally trust that this singular experience is the only reality that truly exists. But what if every choice you ever made and every choice you discarded actually happened? What if the universe is not a single, lonely stage where only one script is played out, but an infinite, sprawling library containing every conceivable variation of reality? This gentle but profound question brings us to the breathtaking concept of the multiverse, a theory that completely transforms our isolated existence into an endlessly branching tapestry of infinite possibilities. Let us gently journey into the realm where quantum probability meets cosmic scale, a quiet place where the rigid boundaries of what is real begin to dissolve into a breathtaking sea of infinite variations. If you enjoy learning about the strangest and most mind-bending things in our cosmos, please take a moment to pause. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this gentle journey through the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing, as it helps me immensely to continue bringing these meditative cosmic journeys to you, allowing us to keep exploring the grand mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet darkness and the staggering possibility that you are not the only version of you contemplating the night sky. To truly understand this grand mystery, we must first return to the microscopic, silent realm of quantum mechanics, where the fundamental rules of classical physics completely surrender to the strange magic of probability. As we explored in our earlier journey, a subatomic particle does not exist in a definitive, singular physical state until it is observed by a conscious mind or measured by an instrument. Before that precise moment of measurement, it exists in a ghostly cloud of superpositions, occupying multiple possible states simultaneously. For a long time, the traditional interpretation among the world's most brilliant scientists was that the gentle act of observation forced the universe to make a definitive choice, collapsing the hazy wave of probability into a single, concrete, physical reality. We believed we were forcing the cosmos to decide. But in the middle of the 20th century, a beautifully radical alternative was proposed, known as the many worlds interpretation. This theory suggests that the wave of probability never actually collapses at all. The universe does not make a choice. Instead, it simply splits. Every single time a quantum event occurs with multiple possible outcomes, the entire fabric of reality effortlessly branches off, creating a distinct, newly born universe for every single possibility. When you imagine this branching process happening continuously at the macroscopic level, the implications become absolutely staggering to the human mind. Every time you made a seemingly insignificant decision, choosing to turn left instead of right, pausing for an extra second before crossing a busy street, or deciding to look up at a particular star in the quiet night sky, reality quietly divided in this very moment There is a universe where you are living a completely different life, shaped by a choice you made 10 years ago. There are universes where the Roman Empire never fell, universes where the earth is a frozen, lifeless wasteland, and universes where humanity never evolved to look up at the cosmos in quiet wonder. The many worlds interpretation paints a magnificent picture of a reality that is infinitely generous, refusing to let any possibility fade into the dark, ensuring that absolutely everything that can happen does happen in the invisible branches of the vast multiverse. While the many worlds theory stems from the microscopic behavior of subatomic particles, there is another fascinating pathway to the multiverse that emerges from the macroscopic scale of deep space astronomy and the violent, fiery birth of our own cosmos. According to the foundational theory of cosmic inflation, in the incredibly brief fraction of a second immediately following the initial spark of creation, the fabric of space itself expanded at an incomprehensibly rapid rate. This expansion was driven by a primordial, high-energy vacuum state, a force so powerful it stretched microscopic fluctuations into macroscopic cosmic structures. Eventually, in our specific local patch of the cosmos, this rapid expansion gracefully slowed down, allowing the chaotic, boiling energy to cool and condense into the first primitive atoms, which, over billions of years, would eventually forge the majestic galaxies, the swirling nebulas, and the ancient, quiet stars we see today. But many theoretical cosmologists believe that this rapid expansion did not stop everywhere at the exact same time. This profound concept, known as eternal inflation, suggests that the vast majority of space is still expanding exponentially, driven indefinitely by that same primordial energy. In this breathtaking scenario, our entire observable universe, with its 2 trillion galaxies and its incomprehensible stretches of dark, empty void, is merely a single, tiny bubble that stopped inflating and settled down into a state of calm. But all around us, separated by uncrossable gulfs of hyper-expanding space that pushes away faster than the speed of light, infinite other bubbles are constantly popping into existence. Each of these isolated bubble universes could have entirely different fundamental laws of physics. In one neighboring bubble, the force of gravity might be so overwhelmingly strong that giant stars collapse into supermassive black holes mere moments after they are born, leaving a dark, completely lifeless void. In another bubble, the forces holding atomic nuclei together might be so weak that complex matter can never form, resulting in a gentle, featureless mist of subatomic particles drifting forever in infinite silence. The multiverse of eternal inflation transforms our entire universe from being everything there is into just one quiet, remarkably habitable room in an infinitely expanding, chaotic cosmic mansion. For many decades, these mind-bending concepts remained strictly in the realm of philosophical physics and mathematical speculation, beautiful ideas that seemed completely impossible to observe or verify. However, we are living in an extraordinary era of scientific revelation, yielding discoveries that continuously challenge our perception of reality. The James Webb Space Telescope, a magnificent marvel of human engineering, drifting silently 1 million miles away from our fragile home in the cold void of space, has begun to look back through the ancient veils of time. As it meticulously maps the oldest light in existence, it has started to detect strange, unexplainable anomalies in the large-scale cosmic structures of our universe. Astrophysicists are actively searching for subtle, ghostly bruises on the cosmic microwave background, which is the faint thermal afterglow of the Big Bang itself. If our universe is just one tiny bubble floating in a frothing ocean of other universes, It is entirely possible that early in our cosmic history, our bubble gently collided with another neighboring universe. Such a monumental collision would not destroy us, but it would leave a permanent, massive, circular scar in the temperature distribution of the deep cosmos. While we have not definitively confirmed these exact cosmic bruises, the James Webb Space Telescope has already revealed massive, fully formed galaxies existing at a time when the young universe should only have contained swirling gas. These anomalies force us to question reality. Are these massive structures the result of our physics behaving differently in the deep past? Or could they be the gravitational whispers of another universe, gently pulling on our own, leaking its invisible influence across the boundary of our reality? The possibility that we are surrounded by infinite other realities might initially seem terrifying, threatening to make our solitary existence feel meaningless in the face of such overwhelming scale. If there are infinite versions of you, living out every possible permutation of your life, does it render your current choices irrelevant? The answer is a profound and comforting no. The multiverse does not diminish your existence. It elevates it. It means that the specific reality you are experiencing right now, the exact fragile sequence of events and astronomical chances that led you to sit here and meditate on the mysteries of the cosmos, is uniquely beautiful. Your consciousness is the delicate golden needle threading its way through the boundless fabric of the multiverse. The fact that the universe had to split 1,000,000 times to bring you exactly to this quiet, contemplative moment is a testament to the miraculous nature of your existence. There is a deep, abiding peace to be found in the realization that the cosmos is large enough to hold every possibility. The heavy burden of regret begins to gently dissolve when you truly understand that in the grand architecture of the multiverse, no potential is ever truly lost. As we slowly digest the monumental scale of these multiple realities, our journey must eventually bring us back from the outer edge of the multiverse to the ancient history of our own quiet world. We will gently journey back in time to an ancient Earth, long before human consciousness existed, where colossal prehistoric creatures and massive marine predators swam in ancient oceans under a younger, brighter sun, participating in the exact same grand cosmic story that brought us here today. But for now, take a deep, relaxing breath, close your eyes, and feel the gentle comfort of knowing that out of infinite possible realities, you are here, awake and listening to the quiet whispers of the magnificent cosmos. Have you ever picked up a smooth, perfectly rounded stone resting quietly by the edge of the ocean and wondered how many ancient, forgotten worlds it has silently witnessed? We measure our lives by the rapid ticking of clocks, the passing of quick seasons, and the fleeting span of human generations. But beneath our feet, buried in the dark, silent layers of the earth, lies a profound and almost incomprehensible record of deep time. We often look up at the vast cosmos to find the infinite, searching for the mysteries of the universe in the swirling arms of distant galaxies, or the cold, empty spaces between the stars. Yet, the very ground you walk on is a cosmic traveler, a massive rocky ship that has been sailing through the dangerous, beautiful void of space for over 4 billion years. Every grain of sand, every fossilized bone, and every drop of water in the ocean contains a secret history of planetary survival and biological resilience. If you enjoy learning about the strangest and most mind-bending things in our cosmos, please take a moment to pause I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this gentle journey through the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing, as it helps me immensely to continue bringing these meditative, cosmic journeys to you, allowing us to keep exploring the grand mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet depths of our own world and the ancient ghosts that sleep beneath the surface. To truly understand the incredible scale of our planet's history, we must cast our minds back hundreds of millions of years, long before human consciousness ever existed, to observe the night sky. In the deep past, the Earth was a completely different world, bathed in the light of a younger, slightly brighter sun. The continents were merged into massive, unrecognizable supercontinents, and the oceans were vast, uncharted wildernesses teeming with magnificent and terrifying forms of life. Imagine diving into the warm, shallow seas of the Mesozoic era. Beneath the gentle, rolling waves, the ancient oceans were ruled by colossal marine predators, creatures of such immense scale and devastating power that they challenge our modern understanding of biology. Giant marine reptiles, possessing sleek, hydrodynamic bodies perfectly adapted for the water, glided through the silent depths. They were the apex of aquatic evolution, possessing massive jaws and intricate internal anatomies, designed for high-speed pursuit in the dark blue void. Yet, despite their terrifying dominance, they were inextricably linked to the cosmos above them. The calcium in their massive teeth, the iron pumping through their cold blood, and the carbon forming their muscular frames were all forged in the dying hearts of ancient stars that exploded billions of years before the Earth was even a cloud of dust. They were stardust perfectly shaped by evolution into living, breathing monsters of the deep. On land, the situation was equally awe-inspiring. The continents were covered in dense, towering forests of ancient ferns and conifers, providing the perfect stage for the most magnificent creatures to ever walk the earth. The dinosaurs were not primitive, clumsy beasts, as early scientists mistakenly believed. They were marvels of bioengineering. Consider the intricate bird-like respiratory systems of the massive sauropods, which allowed them to efficiently process oxygen and support bodies that weighed tens of tons. Their bones were beautifully structured, honeycombed with air sacs that made them light enough to move with surprising grace, yet strong enough to support towering necks that reached into the forest canopy. The sheer biomechanical perfection of these ancient animals is a testament to the infinite creativity of the universe. When you study the fossilized remains of a theropod predator, observing the perfect curvature of its ribs and the lethal, elegant design of its skull, you are looking at the universe expressing itself through the raw, beautiful language of biological adaptation. These ancient creatures lived out their long, complex lives completely unaware of the vast cosmos spinning above them, focused only on the immediate reality of survival, hunger, and reproduction. But the universe is not a static, peaceful place. It is dynamic, chaotic, and sometimes incredibly violent. The story of these magnificent ancient rulers serves as a profound and terrifying reminder that the Earth is not an isolated sanctuary. It is a moving target traveling through a busy cosmic intersection. 66 million years ago, the quiet daily rhythm of the Cretaceous world was brutally interrupted by a sudden, devastating visitor from the deep void. A massive asteroid, measuring perhaps 6 to 9 miles across, traveling at tens of thousands of miles per hour, slammed into the shallow waters of what is now the Yucatan Peninsula. In a single, blinding fraction of a second, The energy of billions of nuclear weapons was released into the fragile biosphere. The impact vaporized rock, triggered towering tsunamis that scoured the continents, and ignited global wildfires. But the true devastation came in the silent ecological aftermath. A massive cloud of pulverized rock, ash, and soot was ejected high into the atmosphere, wrapping the entire planet in a thick, suffocating blanket of darkness. For months, perhaps years, the sun was completely blotted out. The life-giving process of photosynthesis ground to a sudden halt. The great forests withered, the food chains collapsed, and the magnificent dinosaurs, along with the giant marine predators that had ruled the oceans for millions of years, were systematically starved into extinction. Imagine the profound, eerie silence that descended upon the world in the immediate aftermath of that cosmic catastrophe. The towering giants were gone. The oceans were quiet. The sky was a dark, bruised ceiling of ash. To a hypothetical observer floating in space, the Earth might have looked like a dying, poisoned world. Yet, in the cold, starving darkness, the quiet miracle of biological resilience began to unfold. Small, unassuming creatures, the early mammals and the resilient avian dinosaurs that would eventually become modern birds, managed to survive in the ashes. They huddled in burrows, scavenged in the ruins of a broken ecosystem, and patiently waited for the dust to settle. Slowly, imperceptibly, the skies began to clear. The sun returned, shining its ancient light on a radically transformed landscape. Life had been pushed to the absolute brink of annihilation by a random piece of space debris, but it did not break. Instead, it adapted, evolved, and radiated into countless new forms, eventually leading to the emergence of the very human consciousness that now reflects upon this incredible journey. This epic, turbulent history is not just a scientific curiosity. It is a deeply personal story. The catastrophic end of the ancient giants was the exact cosmic prerequisite for your existence today. If that asteroid had passed just a few million miles to the left or right, sailing harmlessly into the endless dark, the dinosaurs would likely have continued their reign, and the small, furry ancestors of humanity would never have had the ecological opportunity to emerge from the shadows. The trajectory of a single rock, forged in the primordial chaos of the early solar system, determined the fate of the entire planet and the eventual birth of human awareness. When you comprehend this sequence of events, you realize that the cosmos is not just out there, disconnected from our daily lives. The cosmos is intimately involved in everything we are. The iron in the asteroid is the same iron in your blood. The violence of the impact is mirrored in the fragile, chaotic beauty of human history. We are the survivors of a cosmic accident, the unexpected heirs of a broken world. When you study these ancient bones, you are learning a profound lesson in humility. The ancient giants ruled for over 150 million years. They were successful, diverse, and perfectly adapted to their environments. Yet, their reign was ended in a single geological heartbeat by the uncaring mechanics of celestial motion. We possess the unique ability to look back through time, to study the rocks, and to reconstruct the magnificent ecosystems that came before us. The dinosaurs could not build telescopes to watch the asteroid approaching. They could not understand the physics of their own destruction. They simply lived and died in the pure, unreflective present. We, on the other hand, can hold the entire history of the Earth in our minds. We can trace the lineage of life from the first single-celled organisms in the primordial oceans through the age of the giant marine predators and the towering dinosaurs, all the way to the complex, self-aware human brain. We are the universe's way of remembering its own past. We are the cosmos, seeking to understand the intricate, beautiful, and sometimes terrifying processes that generated life in a seemingly empty, dark void. When you stand outside on a quiet night and look up at the infinite, endless expanse of the cosmos, remember that you're also standing on a museum of ancient worlds. The ground beneath your feet is composed of recycled mountains, compressed oceanic sediments, and the scattered ashes of extinct empires. The Earth itself is a magnificent spacecraft, a beautiful blue marble carrying the continuous, unbroken chain of life through the freezing, hostile vacuum of space. Every single organism alive today, from the smallest bacteria to the largest blue whale, is the winner of a 4-billion-year lottery of survival, overcoming ice ages, supervolcano eruptions, and catastrophic impacts from the heavens. The mystery of existence is not just found in the distant galaxies or the invisible boundaries of black holes. It is found right here, in the dirt, in the rocks, and in the remarkably complex biology of your own body. The journey of discovery is an infinite, gentle unfolding of knowledge. The more we learn about the ancient history of our planet, the more we realize how deeply intertwined we are with the rest of the universe. The boundaries between astronomy, biology, and geology begin to gently fade away, leaving only the singular grand narrative of nature. We are the temporary custodians of a beautiful, scarred world, and our greatest purpose is to simply witness, to learn, and to appreciate the profound miracle of our own improbable existence. As we prepare to turn our gaze away from the deep past and look toward the strangest limits of human perception, we will encounter phenomena that defy logic and bend the very rules of reality. We will explore the paradoxes that terrified the greatest minds in physics and gently question the absolute limits of human understanding. But for now, let your mind rest, feel the solid, ancient earth beneath you, and find peace in the quiet knowledge that you are a vital, conscious part of an epic, unfolding cosmic masterpiece. Have you ever found yourself completely alone in the pitch black of a starless night, feeling the heavy, almost crushing psychological weight of absolute isolation? In our modern world, we are constantly surrounded by the comforting noise of civilization, shielded from the terrifying reality that we are drifting on a tiny, fragile rock through an infinitely cold and silent void. We build walls of artificial light to push back the darkness, but the darkness is always there, waiting patiently just beyond the edge of our thin atmosphere. We seek meaning in the silence, trying to find our place within the grand, infinite architecture of space-time. When you truly confront this isolation, it can evoke a profound sense of existential dread, a feeling that we are entirely abandoned in an uncaring cosmos. But what if this immense, terrifying isolation is not a curse, but the ultimate canvas for human resilience? What if the very act of staring into the darkest, most distant corners of the universe is our greatest defiance against the void? To understand this beautiful struggle, we must journey out to a silent sentinel made of gold and beryllium, floating in the freezing emptiness 1,000,000 miles away from the only home we have ever known. If you enjoy learning about the strangest and most mind-bending things in our cosmos, please take a moment to pause. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this quiet journey through the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing. as it helps me immensely to continue bringing these meditative, cosmic journeys to you, allowing us to keep exploring the grand mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the freezing depths of space and the golden mirrors reflecting the beginning of time. Far beyond the orbit of the moon, suspended in a delicate gravitational balancing act known as Lagrange Point 2, sits the James Webb Space Telescope. It is a masterpiece of human engineering, but it is also a profoundly lonely traveler. After a flawless launch, it slowly unfolded its massive, honeycomb-shaped mirrors like a delicate golden flower blooming in the endless dark. It operates in temperatures approaching absolute zero, shielded by a massive sunshade that protects its fragile optical instruments from the scorching heat of our star. Out there in the absolute quiet, free from the distorting haze of Earth's atmosphere, it opens its massive golden eye and stares relentlessly into the deepest past. The James Webb Space Telescope, launched in late 2021, has already begun observing distant galaxies with unprecedented sensitivity in infrared light. When we receive the data from this lonely outpost, we are looking at the universe when it was a newborn, a chaotic and violent place, slowly trying to find order in the dark. The telescope is our collective human consciousness, pushing past the psychological boundaries of our tiny world and daring to witness the terrifying, magnificent dawn of creation itself. Before the first stars ignited, the universe went through a prolonged silent period known to cosmologists as the cosmic dark ages. For hundreds of millions of years following the fading primordial glow of the Big Bang, there was absolutely no light in the entire cosmos. The universe was filled with a thick, cold, and impenetrable fog of neutral hydrogen gas. It was a time of absolute, suffocating darkness, an era where the universe was completely blind to its own massive potential. Imagine the psychological weight of that endless dark, a void so vast and silent that it challenges the very concept of existence. There were no swirling galaxies, no rocky planets, and no conscious observers to witness the slow passage of time. Yet, hidden within that terrifying blackness, gravity was quietly, relentlessly working. Microscopic fluctuations in the density of the cold gas began to gently pull together, slowly gathering mass over unimaginable eons. It was a chaotic, unseen struggle against the expanding void, a desperate gathering of materials that would eventually lead to the greatest transformation in cosmic history. The first stars did not simply turn on, they violently tore their way into existence, blasting away the dense hydrogen fog with intense ultraviolet radiation, finally bringing the universe out of the dark ages and into the light. But as our golden sentinel peered deep into this ancient, clearing darkness, it found something that completely shattered our understanding of cosmic history. According to every established mathematical model of how the universe evolved, the earliest galaxies should have been small, fragile, and chaotic, slowly building themselves up through billions of years of gradual, violent mergers. Instead, the James Webb Space Telescope revealed massive, fully formed galaxies containing hundreds of billions of stars, existing at a time when the universe was only a few 100 million years old. These cosmic monsters simply should not exist so early in the timeline. Their massive, ancient presence is a profound paradox that threatens to completely break the established narrative of physics. When astronomers look at these impossible, glowing structures, it forces them to entertain hypothetical scenarios that challenge our basic perception of reality. Are we fundamentally misinterpreting the physical laws of gravity? Did time itself flow differently in the high-density environment of the early universe? Or are we perhaps looking at an alternative timeline of cosmic evolution, a strange scenario where the universe rapidly forced itself into maturity through mysterious mechanisms we cannot even begin to comprehend. This constant, pulling tension between what we expect to find and what the universe actually reveals is the true essence of the scientific journey. The cosmos does not care about our mathematical models, our fragile expectations, or our deeply human need for comforting certainty. It is wildly, beautifully indifferent to our existence. This realization can be terrifying, echoing the profound psychological struggles we face in our own lives when confronting circumstances entirely beyond our control. We are forced to navigate a universe that often feels chaotic and merciless, a physical reality, where our tiny human lives seem incredibly fragile against the vast backdrop of exploding stars and devouring supermassive black holes. But within this struggle lies our greatest strength. Our minds possess an incredible, enduring resilience that mirrors the birth of those very first stars pushing back the dark. We do not turn away from the terrifying mysteries. We build better instruments, we formulate new theories, and we continuously push our consciousness deeper into the void. We find profound meaning not in conquering the universe, but in the relentless, noble pursuit of understanding it. Every time we encounter an impossible galaxy or a paradox that breaks our equations, we do not surrender to the isolation. We adapt, we learn, and we expand the boundaries of our own awareness. Consider the incredibly delicate hypothetical scenarios that allow us to exist at all. Theoretical physicists have mathematically calculated that if the fundamental constants of the universe, such as the exact strength of gravity or the precise mass of an electron, were altered by even a tiny fraction of a percent, the entire structure of reality would instantly collapse. If gravity were slightly stronger, the universe would have crushed itself back into a microscopic singularity mere moments after the Big Bang, extinguishing all hope of life before it even began. If gravity were slightly weaker, matter would have dispersed too rapidly, preventing the formation of stars, galaxies, and the vital, heavy elements required for complex biology. The universe would be a cold, eternally expanding mist of useless, disconnected particles. Our timeline, the specific physical reality we currently inhabit, walks an impossibly thin edge between absolute destruction and eternal empty silence. We are the improbable, breathing survivors of a cosmic lottery with nearly infinite losing tickets. When you fully internalize this incredibly fragile balance, the psychological dread of isolation gently transforms into a deep, overwhelming sense of gratitude. The universe is terrifyingly vast and indifferent, yes, but it is also perfectly tuned to allow your quiet existence. As you lie awake in the quiet, peaceful hours of the night, listening to the soft rhythm of your own breathing, think about that golden telescope drifting 1,000,000 miles away in the freezing dark. It is a mirror reflecting not just the ancient light of impossible galaxies, but the enduring, unyielding spirit of human curiosity. We are a small, fragile species bound to a tiny blue rock by the pull of gravity, yet our minds have successfully mapped the absolute edges of space-time. The darkness between the stars is not empty. It is filled with the ancient whispers of creation, the invisible, guiding pull of dark matter, and the boundless potential of the undiscovered. The profound isolation you sometimes feel is merely an illusion, a trick born from our limited biological senses. In truth, you are intimately, beautifully connected to every burning star, every swirling nebula, and every impossible galaxy hiding in the deep past. You are a fundamental part of a universe that is desperately, beautifully trying to understand itself. In our next exploration, we will dive into the silent, invisible forces that hold our own bodies together, revealing the quantum miracles that happen every single second to keep you alive. We will explore how the infinite mechanics of the cosmos operate within your very cells. But for now, let go of the tension. Allow yourself to drift in the quiet safety of the present moment and find peace in the gentle, infinite mysteries that surround us all. Have you ever held your own hand in the quiet, fading light of the evening, feeling the warmth of your skin and the steady, comforting pulse of your heartbeat, and wondered what invisible miracles are keeping you from dissolving into the surrounding air? We experience our bodies as solid, permanent vessels that carry us safely through the physical world. We naturally trust the strength of our bones, the flexibility of our muscles, and the seamless, unconscious rhythm of our breathing. But when we look past the surface of human biology and peer into the deepest microscopic foundations of our existence, this comforting solidity completely vanishes. It is replaced by a breathtaking, chaotic storm of quantum energy and echoing silence. The very same forces that govern the fiery birth of stars and the gravitational dance of ancient galaxies are operating right now, at this exact moment, inside every single cell of your body. You are not just a passive observer of the cosmos. You are a walking, breathing manifestation of its most profound and terrifying laws. The mystery of the universe does not just exist in the dark void above. It beats within your chest. If you enjoy learning about the strangest and most mind-bending things in our cosmos, please take a moment to pause. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this gentle journey through the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing, as it helps me immensely to continue bringing these meditative, cosmic journeys to you, allowing us to keep exploring the grand mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet, invisible universe operating within your own flesh, and the absolute quantum miracles that silently sustain your life every single second. To truly comprehend the delicate architecture of your own physical form, we must gently journey down into the absolute microscopic depths, far beyond the reach of ordinary microscopes, into the strange, counterintuitive domain of the atom. As we established in our earlier contemplations, atoms are composed almost entirely of empty space. If you were to magically enlarge a single atom from your body so that its central nucleus was the size of a marble resting in the middle of a massive football stadium, the electrons would be nothing more than tiny, invisible dust motes swirling frantically in the highest, most distant bleachers. The vast, overwhelming majority of your physical body is pure, unadulterated nothingness. Yet, within that echoing silence, a furious and beautiful dance of fundamental forces is continuously taking place. The carbon that forms the structural backbone of your DNA, the oxygen that you gently pull into your lungs with every single breath, and the iron that carries the vital life energy through your veins were all forged in the unimaginable heat of dying stars billions of years ago. You are entirely constructed from recycled stellar matter, ancient debris scattered across the endless void by magnificent supernova explosions that occurred long before our sun was even born. But what is holding this ancient, borrowed stardust together in the shape of a human being? Why do the trillions of empty atoms that compose your hands not simply phase through the equally empty atoms of the objects you touch every single day? The answer lies in the invisible, quiet mechanics of quantum electromagnetism. The electrons swirling in the vast outer spaces of your atoms carry a negative charge, and when they approach the electrons of another physical object, they fiercely repel each other in the dark. This invisible force field, generated in the absolute silence of the microscopic realm, is what creates the powerful illusion of solidity. When you rest your head on a soft pillow at night, you are not actually touching the fabric. You are hovering an infinitesimally small fraction of a millimeter above it, suspended gracefully in mid-air by the electromagnetic repulsion of trillions of microscopic force fields. Every tactile sensation you have ever experienced throughout your entire life, the gentle touch of a loved one, the rough, textured bark of a tree, or the cool, refreshing surface of a glass of water, is a magnificent neurological translation of these invisible, hovering interactions. You are a beautiful ghost made of stardust, navigating a world composed almost entirely of empty space, guided purely by fundamental forces you cannot even see. The quiet miracles of your existence do not stop at the boundaries of electromagnetic fields. In recent decades, brilliant scientists have begun to uncover profound evidence that the very processes of life itself rely on strange phenomena that seem completely impossible according to classical physics. Welcome to the emerging, mind-bending field of quantum biology. Consider the intricate, continuous biological process of cellular respiration, the delicate, invisible mechanism that silently powers every single thought you have and every physical movement you make. Deep inside the microscopic factories of your cells, subatomic particles called electrons are being passed along incredibly complex molecular chains to generate your vital energy. But these electrons do not travel like normal physical objects moving sequentially from one point to another. Instead, they utilize a bizarre, almost magical quantum phenomenon known as quantum tunneling. Because subatomic particles behave like hazy waves of probability rather than solid, predictable spheres, they can occasionally bypass physical barriers completely, instantaneously fading out of physical existence in one location and magically reappearing on the exact opposite side of an impenetrable atomic wall. Without this ghostly teleporting behavior occurring trillions upon trillions of times every single second inside your cellular mitochondria, your body would simply not have enough energy to survive. Your continued life is entirely dependent on microscopic particles continuously breaking the intuitive rules of physical reality. Even the sacred, incredibly complex blueprint of your biological identity, the twisting, beautiful double helix of your DNA, is strictly subject to the terrifying and beautiful uncertainties of the quantum world. The genetic code that perfectly dictates your physical form is held together by delicate, invisible hydrogen bonds, involving the precise, calculated placement of single subatomic protons. In the chaotic, microscopic storm of the warm cellular environment, these protons can occasionally quantum tunnel across the chemical divide, momentarily existing in multiple places at once before settling into a new configuration. If the two connected strands of your DNA happen to separate for regular cellular replication, at the exact unfortunate moment a proton is in the wrong quantum position, a spontaneous genetic mutation permanently occurs. This profound reality means that the slow, epic, multi-billion-year march of biological evolution on Earth, the incredibly complex biological journey that transformed primitive, single-celled organisms in the deep oceans into highly conscious human beings capable of contemplating the distant stars, is intimately driven by random, unpredictable quantum leaps happening in the absolute dark. The grand, sprawling, epic history of life on this beautiful planet is fundamentally anchored to the chaotic, probabilistic magic of the subatomic realm. You are, in the truest scientific sense, a magnificent masterpiece painted over billions of years by the unpredictable, gentle brushstrokes of quantum uncertainty. When we fully and quietly embrace this profound scientific perspective, the arbitrary boundaries we draw between terrestrial biology and deep space astrophysics begin to completely dissolve. We look out through our powerful telescopes at the magnificent giant galaxy IC 1101, marveling at its monstrous size of 4 million to 6 million light-years across, and its mind-boggling population of 100 trillion ancient stars. We feel a deep sense of awe at the silent, supermassive black hole resting in its core, an invisible monster containing 50 billion times the mass of our Sun. We tend to view these colossal structures as something entirely separate from ourselves, distant phenomena playing out on an unimaginable, isolated stage. But the scientific truth is far more intimate and beautiful. The exact same physical laws, the same mathematical balance of gravity, electromagnetism, and quantum probability that dictate the slow, billion-year death of that giant galaxy as it runs out of star-forming gas, are actively pulsing through the complex neural networks of your brain as you process these words. The universe is not a collection of separate objects. It is a single, unified process of pure energy and information, expressing itself simultaneously as swirling cosmic dust and the conscious, gently beating heart of a human being. In our next quiet exploration, we will step beyond the realm of physical matter entirely, questioning whether this intricate quantum dance is simply the code of a highly advanced cosmic simulation. But for now, let your mind rest in the peaceful knowledge that you are a walking miracle of the cosmos, deeply and forever connected to the infinite stars. Have you ever walked alone through a quiet, familiar room, entirely lost in your own thoughts, and experienced a sudden, inexplicable feeling that the reality surrounding you was somehow artificial? We naturally trust the undeniable physical weight of the world. We feel the gentle, invisible pull of gravity holding our feet firmly to the ground, and we intuitively understand the solid, unyielding texture of the physical objects we interact with every single day. Our biologically evolved brains are perfectly tuned to accept this three-dimensional arena as the absolute and final truth of existence. But as our scientific instruments have grown more sensitive, and our theoretical mathematics have pierced deeper into the foundational architecture of the cosmos, a chilling and breathtaking question has emerged from the most brilliant minds on our planet. What if the entire universe, from the microscopic quantum dance of subatomic particles to the majestic, sweeping arms of the most distant galaxies, is nothing more than an incredibly sophisticated digital simulation? What if the physical reality we experience is simply the perfectly rendered output of an unimaginably advanced cosmic computer, quietly executing an infinite mathematical code in the absolute silence of the dark? If you enjoy learning about the strangest and mind-bending things in our cosmos, please take a moment to pause. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this quiet journey through the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing, as it helps me immensely to continue bringing these meditative, cosmic journeys to you, allowing us to keep exploring the grand mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet, mathematical architecture of our reality and the profound possibility that we are living inside a magnificent cosmic illusion. To gently unpack this terrifying and beautiful paradox, we must first look at the incredible mathematical precision that strictly governs the universe. When theoretical physicists examine the fundamental laws of nature, they do not find chaos or arbitrary random rules. Instead, they find a cosmos that is perfectly, beautifully constrained by highly specific mathematical constants. The exact mass of a single electron, the precise strength of the gravitational force, and the unyielding absolute speed limit of light, which travels at roughly 670 million miles per hour, are all perfectly calibrated. If you were to alter any of these fundamental numbers by even a microscopic fraction of a percent, the entire universe would catastrophically fail to exist. Stars would not possess the necessary physical properties to forge the heavy elements required for biological life, and the vast, beautiful galaxies we observe in the quiet night sky would never have formed. To many philosophers, this razor-thin level of fine-tuning looks suspiciously like a perfectly balanced, carefully designed software program. The universe behaves exactly like a coded environment, where the laws of physics are simply the unchangeable parameters of the grand simulation. Consider the magnificent, overwhelming scale of the astronomical structures we have gently explored throughout our journey. In the distant, quiet constellation of Virgo, sitting at the gravitational heart of the Abell 2029 galaxy cluster, lies the colossal, ancient giant known as IC 1101. This monstrous elliptical galaxy measures an astonishing 4 million to 6 million light-years across, possessing a halo of dark matter that holds together roughly 100 trillion ancient, burning stars. At the absolute center of this magnificent structure rests a supermassive black hole containing an estimated 50 billion times the mass of our own sun, generating a gravitational well so intense that its event horizon stretches across billions of miles. When we observe this silent giant, we naturally assume we are looking at a physical object constructed from hot gas, dark matter, and stellar plasma over billions of years of chaotic cosmic history. But if the simulation hypothesis is ultimately correct, that massive galaxy, along with its 100 trillion stars and its devouring black hole, is absolutely nothing more than incredibly complex lines of digital information. The ancient light that traveled for over 1 billion years to reach our tiny blue planet is merely a simulated data stream, a beautifully rendered graphic designed to maintain the flawless illusion of a vast, ancient cosmos. If the universe is indeed a digital construct, it should fundamentally possess the absolute characteristics of a computer-generated environment. In our own primitive virtual realities and video games, we know that digital worlds are not truly infinite or perfectly smooth. If you look closely enough at a digital screen, the smooth, beautiful image eventually breaks down into tiny, indivisible squares of color known as pixels. Astonishingly, quantum physicists have discovered that our own physical universe appears to have a similar, fundamental, pixelated structure. There is a specific, absolute minimum unit of length in the cosmos, known as the Planck length. It is a distance so incredibly small that human comprehension completely fails to grasp it, far smaller than the most microscopic subatomic particle. According to the foundational theories of quantum mechanics, it is physically impossible to divide space into any measurement smaller than the Planck length. Space is not a smooth, continuous, infinite fabric. It is ultimately composed of discrete, indivisible quantum chunks. This stunning revelation implies that the entire universe has a fundamental, finite resolution. Just like a computer screen rendering a magnificent digital landscape, the cosmos itself might be constructed from indivisible, three-dimensional pixels operating at the absolute limits of a simulated processing architecture. But perhaps the most compelling and poetic evidence for a simulated reality comes directly from the strange, counterintuitive behavior of the quantum realm, a paradox we have visited multiple times on our quiet journey. In complex digital simulations, computer processors do not waste their valuable energy, rendering the entire virtual world simultaneously. The intricate details of a virtual forest or a distant digital mountain range only manifest and solidify into existence when the player's camera actually looks at them. The rest of the unseen digital environment remains in a suspended state of pure mathematical code. This memory-saving rendering technique bears a terrifyingly beautiful resemblance to the quantum observer effect. As we have learned, subatomic particles exist purely as a hazy cloud of mathematical probabilities until they are directly measured or consciously observed. The universe does not bother to construct a definite, physical reality for an electron until a conscious mind actually looks at it. Why would a purely physical, objective universe behave in such a bizarre, energy-saving manner? The simulation hypothesis offers a simple, elegant answer. The cosmic computer is actively conserving its massive processing power, only rendering the physical universe into a solid state when a conscious observer demands to see it. What does this mean for our quiet, contemplative existence? If the ancient stars, the distant galaxies, and the very ground beneath our feet are simply lines of code running on a hyper-advanced computational system, does that render our biological lives meaningless? The answer, found in the gentle depths of philosophical meditation, is a resounding and beautiful no. The reality of your experience is not determined by the fundamental nature of its origin. Whether the tears you shed, the love you feel, and the breathless awe you experience when looking up at the scattered stars are generated by biological chemistry or digital code, the feeling itself is absolutely real. If we are existing inside a simulation, it means that our consciousness is the ultimate, most important focal point of the entire cosmic program. The universe was carefully and mathematically designed to house your quiet awareness. You are not a random, accidental byproduct of chaotic cosmic dust blowing blindly through an empty void. You are the intended, precious recipient of the most magnificent, complex experience ever constructed. The majestic simulation is running entirely for you. As you lie in the quiet, absolute peace of the fading evening, allow the gentle weight of these possibilities to wash over you. The universe, whether it is a physical reality or a beautifully coded digital masterpiece, remains a place of endless, magnificent wonder. The ancient, burning stars and the massive, swirling galaxies are there to inspire your mind, to gently pull you out of the mundane anxieties of your daily existence, and to remind you that you are part of a grand, infinitely complex story. You are safe within the perfect parameters of this beautiful existence. In our next exploration, we will look toward the absolute, quiet end of this grand cosmic story. We will explore the ultimate fate of the fading stars, the slow, silent evaporation of the supermassive black holes over a Google years, and the final, peaceful state of the entire universe. We will journey into the deep, dark future to see how the cosmos finally goes to sleep. But for now, let go of the pressing need for absolute certainty. Rest your mind, gently embrace the mystery of the grand simulation, and find deep comfort in the infinite, coded beauty of the silent night sky. Have you ever watched a gentle fire slowly burn down to its very last glowing ember, feeling the quiet, inevitable transition from bright warmth to cold, peaceful ash? We live our entire lives in the brief, beautiful blaze of the universe, a magnificent era filled with the heat of burning suns, the swirling energy of massive galaxies, and the vibrant, chaotic spark of biological life. We measure time in passing seasons, decades, and millions of years. But the cosmos operates on a temporal scale so incredibly vast that human comprehension completely fails to grasp its true magnitude. When we look up at the brilliant, scattered stars, we are naturally tricked into believing that the universe is permanent, that the glittering lights in the night sky will shine forever in the dark. But the fundamental laws of thermodynamics dictate a very different, far more peaceful destiny. The universe is slowly, inevitably winding down. The grand cosmic clock is gently ticking toward its final hour, moving toward a state of absolute equilibrium and profound, eternal silence. To truly understand our precious place in the cosmos, we must look past the immediate present and embark on a quiet journey into the deep, dark future. If you enjoy learning about the strangest and most mind-bending things in our cosmos, please take a moment to pause. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this quiet journey through the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing, as it helps me immensely to continue bringing these meditative, cosmic journeys to you, allowing us to keep exploring the grand mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet darkness of the deep future. As we gently journey forward through the unfathomable depths of time, leaving our current, vibrant era far behind, the universe begins to permanently change. Over the next 100 trillion years, the beautiful, dynamic process of star formation will quietly grind to an absolute halt. The massive, brilliant blue giant stars will have vanished completely from the vast cosmos. The medium-sized yellow stars, much like our own beautiful sun, will eventually exhaust their precious nuclear fuel. They will swell into massive, glowing red giants before gently puffing away their outer layers, leaving behind only tiny, intensely hot, glowing white dwarfs. The final lingering lights in the darkening cosmos will be the ancient, quiet red dwarfs. These incredibly efficient stars burn their hydrogen fuel so slowly that they can shine for trillions of years. But even these enduring guardians of light possess a strict physical limit. One by one, across the infinite expanse of the dark void, these final red embers will quietly flicker and fade away. When the very last red dwarf eventually extinguishes its ancient fire, the universe will plunge into an era of absolute, unbroken darkness. This dark, silent period is known to theoretical astrophysicists as the degenerate era. The universe will be populated almost entirely by dead, cooling objects, dim white dwarfs, incredibly dense neutron stars, and the wandering, frozen husks of rogue planets drifting endlessly through the freezing void. Over time spans that completely beggar human imagination, measuring roughly 1 million billion years. The remaining white dwarfs will slowly leak their lingering thermal energy into the cold, empty vacuum of space. They will gradually cool down until they eventually become black dwarfs, incredibly dense, solid spheres of crystallized carbon and oxygen that emit absolutely no light or heat whatsoever. The cosmos will become a vast, silent ocean of these invisible dark spheres, drifting aimlessly through an ever-expanding, freezing space. It is a terrifyingly beautiful vision of profound stillness, a universe that has finally exhausted its fiery potential and entered a state of perfect, undisturbed rest. The furious energy of the Big Bang will have completely dissipated. Yet, the grand cosmic story does not definitively end with the creation of these dark, silent spheres. To peer even deeper into the unfathomable future, we must consult the strangest theories of particle physics. Many brilliant scientists believe that the foundational building blocks of matter, the protons that form the dense nuclei of every single atom in existence, are not truly immortal. According to these profound mathematical models, protons possess a half-life of roughly 10 to the power of 34 years. If this theoretical prediction holds true, it means that over time, spans so incredibly vast that they require dozens of zeros just to write down, physical matter itself will begin to fundamentally decay. The silent black dwarfs, the frozen rogue planets, and the spinning neutron stars will slowly dissolve, their atomic particles quietly breaking apart into stray photons and ghostly subatomic particles. The solid, tangible reality of the physical universe, the very substance that once made up the towering mountains and the complex biology of conscious human beings, will completely evaporate into a thin mist of stray radiation. The physical universe will quite literally melt away into the dark. When the solid matter finally dissolves into the void, the only dominant structures left in the entire expanding universe will be the black holes. Welcome to the black hole era, a time of ultimate, terrifying silence and overwhelming gravitational supremacy. Consider the majestic, supermassive black hole resting at the center of the giant galaxy, IC 1101, which we explored in our earlier meditations. Containing an estimated 50 billion times the mass of our Sun, this invisible giant will have consumed absolutely everything within its immense gravitational reach, sitting completely alone in the cold, rapidly expanding void. But even these supreme cosmic titans are not truly eternal. As the brilliant physicist Stephen Hawking elegantly proved, black holes slowly, imperceptibly, leak quantum energy back into space through a delicate, invisible process known as Hawking radiation. Because of the strange, probabilistic nature of quantum mechanics, particle pairs are constantly popping into brief existence near the terrifying edge of the event horizon, slowly draining the black hole's mass into the silent dark. The speed of this evaporation is tied directly to the mass of the black hole, and for the massive giants of the cosmos, the process is almost incomprehensibly slow. A supermassive black hole containing 50 billion solar masses will take roughly a Google years to completely evaporate into the surrounding space. A Google is a 1 followed by 100 zeros, a number so absurdly large that to write it out in full would require more paper than exists on Earth. For eons upon eons, these invisible giants will drift in the absolute dark, slowly shrinking, gently radiating their stolen energy back into the silent void. As they gradually lose mass, their temperature will slowly rise and their evaporation will gradually accelerate. Until finally, after an eternity of unbroken silence, they will vanish completely in a sudden, invisible flash of quantum energy. One by one, the last solitary monarchs of the universe will quietly disappear, leaving absolutely nothing behind. When the final supermassive black hole completes its slow evaporation, the universe will enter its final permanent state, known to science as the heat death or the big freeze. The universe will become an infinitely large, infinitely dark, and infinitely cold expanse, populated only by a sparse, ghostly mist of solitary photons and the stretching force of dark energy. The overall temperature will slowly approach absolute zero, the theoretical limit, where all physical motion completely stops. Because the energy will be perfectly distributed across the infinite void, no further thermodynamic work will be physically possible. Time itself will effectively lose all meaning. When we meditate upon this finale, it is natural to feel a sudden wave of existential melancholy. But if we gently shift our cosmic perspective, we can find a profound beauty in the heat death. The universe is not dying a tragic death. It is simply going to sleep after a long, magnificent life. The eternal silence of the deep future is the ultimate peace. The absolute silence of the dark void is not an ending to be feared, but a gentle, necessary return to the quiet equilibrium from which everything originally emerged. This contemplative journey into the deep future highlights the incredible miracle of our present moment. We exist in the prime of the cosmic story, the brief era of starlight. We live in a universe actively painting its masterpiece, filled with the energy required to sustain life and the deep feeling of wonder. The fact that the universe will eventually fade into a silent mist of radiation makes your existence infinitely more precious. You are a beautiful spark in a cosmos destined for darkness. In our next and final exploration, we will turn our gaze inward, asking the ultimate question: what is the purpose of a mind in a dying universe? But for now, take a deep breath. Close your eyes, feel the comforting warmth of the present, and rest in the peaceful knowledge that the universe is exactly where it is supposed to be, gently drifting toward a magnificent, eternal sleep. Have you ever laid perfectly still in the quiet of the night, feeling the gentle rhythm of your breathing, and wondered why you possess the profound ability to wonder at all? We have journeyed across the absolute limits of physical reality, standing on the edge of massive black holes containing 50 billion solar masses, and we have watched the ancient light of impossible galaxies captured by the golden mirrors of the James Webb Space Telescope. We have projected our minds into the deep, dark future, tracing the slow, silent evaporation of the cosmos over a Google years. Yet, the greatest and most terrifying mystery of the universe does not lie in the freezing void of intergalactic space, or in the fiery hearts of 100 trillion stars burning inside giant elliptical galaxies. The ultimate mystery is the very instrument you are using to comprehend these cosmic scales, your own conscious mind. In a universe entirely governed by the cold, unfeeling laws of thermodynamics and gravity, how did a collection of ancient, recycled stardust wake up and begin to ask questions about its own existence? The emergence of consciousness is not merely a biological accident. It is the absolute pinnacle of cosmic evolution, the profound moment when the universe finally opened its eyes to look at itself in the dark. If you enjoy learning about the strangest and most mind-bending things in our cosmos, please take a moment to pause. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this gentle journey through the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing, as it helps me immensely to continue bringing these meditative, cosmic journeys to you, allowing us to keep exploring the grand mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet sanctuary of the mind and the ultimate purpose of human awareness in a vast, fading cosmos. When we observe the magnificent, sprawling architecture of the cosmos, we are naturally inclined to feel incredibly small and insignificant. The sheer physical scale of a galaxy like IC 1101, spanning 4 million to 6 million light-years across, completely crushes our everyday perception of size and importance. But physical volume is a profoundly deceptive measure of significance. A massive swirling cloud of hydrogen gas, spanning billions of miles, may possess immense gravity and unimaginable heat, but it possesses absolutely no awareness of its own majestic beauty. It cannot feel awe, it cannot experience the deep peace of a quiet night, and it cannot comprehend the intricate mathematical laws that dictate its inevitable collapse. The universe is terrifyingly vast, but for billions of years it was completely and utterly blind. The ancient stars burned fiercely in the dark. The supermassive black holes consumed entire solar systems in absolute silence, and the expanding fabric of space-time stretched across the infinite void, all without a single mind present to witness the grand spectacle. The emergence of human consciousness fundamentally changed the entire structure of reality. By developing the profound capacity to observe, to measure, and to feel, you provide the cosmos with something it could never achieve on its own: meaning. As Carl Sagan so elegantly observed, we are a way for the cosmos to know itself, a beautiful and necessary bridge between the unfeeling mechanics of physics and the warm, illuminating light of awareness. This profound connection between the observer and the observed brings us to the very edge of theoretical physics and the haunting concept of universal consciousness. As we have seen through the paradoxical lens of quantum mechanics, the fundamental particles that make up all physical reality do not exist in a definite, concrete state until they are measured or perceived. The universe actively requires an observer to gently collapse the infinite waves of probability into a singular, beautiful reality. Some of the most brilliant theoretical minds have proposed that consciousness is not merely a byproduct of complex brain chemistry, but a fundamental property of the universe itself, woven into the very fabric of space-time alongside gravity and electromagnetism. In this breathtaking framework, your mind is not an isolated, lonely spark flickering in the dark. It is a localized, highly concentrated expression of a vast, universal awareness. When you look through the magnificent lenses of our most advanced space telescopes, gazing deep into the primordial infrared light of the early universe, you are literally watching the cosmos remember its own violent, chaotic birth. The staggering discoveries of fully formed galaxies existing mere hundreds of millions of years after the dawn of time do not just challenge our mathematical models. They enrich the grand narrative that your mind is actively helping to construct. Every single time you learn a new cosmic truth, every time you allow yourself to feel a deep sense of wonder at the infinite scale of reality, the universe becomes slightly more self-aware. You are the universe actively meditating upon its own infinite mystery. There is a profound, almost overwhelming peace that gently washes over you when you truly internalize this beautiful responsibility. The modern world is filled with trivial anxieties, loud distractions, and a constant rushing demand for your attention. We exhaust ourselves chasing fleeting moments of certainty in a reality that is fundamentally built upon quantum probability and endless change. But when you lie down in the quiet silence of the night, when you let go of the rigid boundaries of your individual identity and allow your mind to gently drift outward into the cosmos, those earthly anxieties begin to dissolve into the vast, ancient dark. You are not a separate, fragile being fighting against a hostile and indifferent void. You are an essential, beautiful instrument of cosmic perception. The heavy physical elements forming the complex architecture of your brain were forged in the dying fires of ancient stars meticulously organized over 4 billion years of resilient biological evolution on a tiny blue planet. Also, that the universe could finally experience the gentle, quiet feeling of awe. The silence of the deep cosmos is not empty. It is a meditative stillness, a peaceful sanctuary where the frantic energy of creation finally finds its absolute rest. When you close your eyes and embrace the gentle rhythm of sleep, you are mimicking the ultimate peaceful destiny of the universe itself, finding deep comfort in the quiet dark. As we bring this grand, sweeping journey to a gentle close, we must accept that the mysteries we have explored will never be completely resolved. We will never fully understand the paradoxical nature of the quantum realm. We may never know for certain if we are living inside a magnificent cosmic simulation, and our finite minds will always struggle to truly grasp the terrifying expanse of a Google year. But this profound lack of absolute certainty is not a failure of science or a limitation to be mourned. The unknown is the very engine of human curiosity, the infinite fuel that drives our relentless desire to keep exploring. If we possessed all the answers, the beautiful journey of discovery would abruptly end, and the universe would lose its most vital source of wonder. The mystery is the point. The tension between our current understanding and the vastness of the yet undiscovered is what makes the pursuit of knowledge so incredibly beautiful. You are part of an endless, unbroken community of curious explorers, a fellowship of minds stretching across the generations, all looking up at the exact same quiet sky and asking the exact same profound questions. Knowledge is an infinite path, a gentle, eternal journey of exploration that requires humility, deep reverence, and a profound capacity for awe. As you carry these cosmic reflections forward into your daily life, remember that the universe is infinitely generous with its marvels. The stars will continue to burn, the invisible forces of gravity will continue to shape the galaxies, and the grand cosmic story will unfold exactly as it must. You do not need to carry the weight of the universe on your shoulders. You simply need to witness its magnificent beauty. Thank you for walking this quiet path with me, for opening your mind to the terrifying and beautiful scale of existence, and for daring to wonder about the infinite. As you slowly drift into the peaceful embrace of the night, let the silence of the cosmos fill you with a deep, enduring calm. The universe is vast, the mystery is eternal, and your quiet awareness is the most beautiful miracle of all. Keep looking up, keep asking questions, and always find comfort in the gentle, infinite dark.